Okay, so the binomial theorem says in the expansion of x plus y raised to the n, we can find the coefficient by taking the combination, so using our combination formula, which is NCR. So we can do this by using factorials because we know that then that it's equal to n factorial over n minus r factorial. But underneath it, it also says, watch out, because sometimes that symbol with the two parentheses and two numbers on top of each other, but not a divide sign, so it's not a fraction, is often used in the place of that combination formula to denote binomial coefficients. All right, so with example 1, let's do this. So for A, we see that it is the combination, let's just call it 8C2, because that's what most of y'all we were doing in class. And so 8C2, remember, our formula we just saw on the other side said NCR is equal to n factorial over n minus r factorial times r factorial. So we can work this out. We can say, okay, well then it's 8 factorial over 8 minus 2 factorial times 2 factorial. Well, I can work what's inside the parenthesis there because I know 8 minus 2 is 6 factorial, and then I got my 2 factorial still on bottom. All right, well, I need to work this out. Well, my largest factorial is on top, so it's 8, and the next one is in the denominator, which is 6. So I'm going to take that 8 factorial, and I'm going to start working it down until I get to 6, and then I'm not going to go any further. I'm just going to leave that as factorial. So I'm wanting those to cancel then. So what I'm saying is, you know 8 factorial means 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. But since I have a 6 factorial on bottom, I'm going to stop. I don't want to have to write all that out unless I just absolutely have to. Over, well, since I have a 6 factorial on top, I'm going to keep that 6 factorial on bottom, and then 2 factorial is just 2 times 1. And so since I have a 6 factorial on top and bottom, they cancel, and then I can work it out on top. 8 times 7 is 56. Over in the denominator, 2 times 1 is 2. Divide it out, and we have 28. For B, we're going to do the same thing, except it's written in that different notation. But that, remember, means the same thing as this. So that means then that my combination, it's actually like combination with 10 trials and 3 successes. But just so you know, it's combination. Is equal to, it's going to be 10 factorial over 10 minus 3 factorial times 3 factorial. Again, I'm going to work out my parentheses. So I'm just going to leave it as 10 factorial over, so then I got 7 factorial, 3 factorial. Again, my largest factorial is in my numerator, so I'm going to work it down until I get to the largest factorial that's in the denominator. So it's 10 times 9 times 8 times 7, which is the one I have in the denominator, so I'm going to stop there instead of writing it out. And then I'm going to keep the 7 factorial since that's what I have in the numerator, and then I'm going to write out the 3 factorial. So remember, that's 3 times 2 times 1. All right, so my 7 factorials will cancel. 10 times 9 times 8 is 720, over 3 times 2 times 1 is 6, and 720 divided by 6 is 120. And then we can work out C the same way. So combination of 8 trials, no successes, says it's equal then to 8 factorial over 8 minus 0 factorial, 0 factorial. So then we get 8 factorial over 8 factorial, 0 factorial. Your 8 factorials automatically cancel, so you have a 1 on top and 0 factorial on the bottom. So you get 1 over 0 factorial, remember it's just 1, and 1 over 1 is 1. And I want you to go ahead and try the next one. So try it, pause the video, stop, try it, and then start the video again. Okay, so check it. Hopefully you got it. It was a lot like the previous one. Now, what do these numbers mean? We found them, that's great. We were able to compute them, but what does that mean? Okay, so like this first one here, what this means is that if my exponent is 8, so if I was looking at x plus y to the 8, when I look at that second term, I shouldn't say second yet. I'll explain more on this in a later video. But when I look for that a sub 2, then that tells me that the coefficient piece is going to be 28. On this one, when I have x plus y to the 10th, then this tells me that my coefficient, my a sub 3 for the coefficient part then is going to be 120. And then this one says when I have an exponent of 8, then my a sub 0 is going to have a coefficient of 1. And then almost same thing when I have, again, an exponent that's 8, then my a sub 8 is going to have a coefficient of 1 written down. Hope that helps.